You've done everything they said would make you feel whole. You've chased success, tried to fix yourself, tried to be liked. But even when you did it right, why did it still feel like something was missing? Here's what nobody told you. The real reason why life feels heavy sometimes is because you've been carrying weight that was never yours to hold. And the greatest secret? It's not about doing more, fixing more, or becoming someone else. It's about finally seeing what was already inside you, hidden under years of noise, pressure, and pretending. So before you scroll, give yourself these next few minutes. This might be the moment where something clicks. From the moment you were born, the world started shaping you, not based on who you were, but based on what it needed from you. You were told, be smart, be nice, be successful, be useful, be strong. But no one ever said, be still, be real, be you. And so you learned to seek approval, to compare, to hustle for validation, to feel guilty when you rested, to panic when you didn't have a plan, to measure your worth by things that could be taken away. And here's the trap. Every time you try to feel better, you're given another thing to chase. More habits, more hacks, more fixes. As if the answer is always one step away from now. But what if the secret isn't out there at all? What if the reason you still feel empty, even after trying so hard, is because you've been trained to ignore the one place the truth has always lived? Inside you. And not in a self-help book kind of way. I mean in the silent moment, when you feel like you're falling apart. But something inside whispers, you were never meant to live like this. That whisper, that's the beginning. Let's be real. You've probably spent most of your life trying to control how things turn out. Trying to make people stay. Trying to make the future safe. Trying to make sure nothing breaks. Nothing changes and you don't fall behind. But here's the quiet truth no one talks about. Control is a comfort blanket. It feels like safety, but really, it's just fear wearing a different face. Fear of uncertainty, fear of being misunderstood, fear that if you let go, everything might fall apart, including you. But let me ask you something. Has holding on this tight actually brought you peace? Or has it just made your mind louder, your sleep lighter, your joy harder to feel? Because the irony is, the more we try to control things, the more we suffer when life does what it always does. Change. And you weren't born to micromanage your life into perfection. You were born to experience it, to move with it, to grow through it. So if you've been feeling stuck, anxious, burnt out, it's not because you're weak. It's because you've been trying to swim upstream in a river that was never meant to be tamed. The secret isn't to fight it harder. It's to finally understand the river itself. Because the real shift begins when you realize that not everything you feel is actually yours. Let that sit for a second. We grow up thinking everything we feel, think, and struggle with is entirely ours. But what if most of it isn't? What if the shame you carry in silence isn't yours, but something passed down? What if the fear that stops you from trying, the one that says you're not enough, came from someone who once said that about themselves, not you? You see, we inherit more than just eye color or personality traits. We inherit energy, beliefs, wounds, entire narratives. From our parents, our culture, our environment, that silently embed themselves in our mind like background programs running 24/7. And because they've been there so long, we mistake them for truth. But here's the secret. You don't have to keep living by scripts you never wrote. You don't have to carry pain that isn't even yours. Becoming free doesn't just mean feeling good. It means learning how to separate what's truly you from what was installed in you. When you start doing that, even little moments feel lighter. Like waking up and realizing the noise in your mind isn't your fault. It's just a system you never chose. Because now that you know not everything inside you belongs to you, it's time to explore what does. Let's go. Once you realize not everything inside you belongs to you, the next question is, what does? And that's where most people freeze. They've spent so long being pulled by expectations, survival, pressure, that when you take all of that away, they're left with silence. But within that silence, there's something ancient, something subtle, something that's been with you long before the world told you who to be. It's your inner compass, not a loud, dramatic voice, but a quiet knowing, a sense, a pull, a resonance, not coming from the outside, but from somewhere deep beneath the noise. This compass doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't beg you to follow it. It waits, patiently, until you're finally still enough to feel it. Have you ever noticed how some decisions felt right even if they didn't make sense on paper? That's the compass. Or how some places, people, or opportunities felt off, even if they looked perfect. That's the compass. You see, freedom doesn't come from knowing every answer. It comes from knowing how to navigate. And the real secret? You've always known how. You were just never taught to trust it. The world teaches us to override this compass, to choose logic over intuition, to follow rules instead of resonance. But the moment you return to that inner sense, life begins to flow. Not because it's easy, but because it's aligned. So here's the invitation. Start noticing the subtle yes and no that arise in your body. The small pulls, the gentle inner nods. That's you, the real you, guiding you back to the life that was always meant to be yours. So let's say you begin following that inner compass. You make a choice not because it's safe, but because it feels like yours. You walk away from something comfortable, not because it's broken, but because it doesn't fit anymore. You start listening to that quiet pull inside, and suddenly the world gets louder. This is the part no one tells you. When you begin to align, the misaligned parts of your life will start to fall away. Friends might get confused. Family might say you've changed. Opportunities might disappear, the same ones that never really felt right to begin with. And here's the thing, that's not failure. That's proof it's working. The old version of you, the one built on people-pleasing, self-doubt, and fear, was keeping a lot of things in place. But the real you, the one guided by something deeper, that version threatens the systems built on your silence. So the pushback isn't a sign you're lost. It's a sign you're leaving the maze. Think about it. Every system depends on people forgetting who they are. Once you remember, once you start choosing peace over performance, alignment over approval, you're no longer controllable. You're no longer living someone else's script. And that's where life gets real. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it might get lonely. But it's the kind of loneliness that comes before expansion. It's the quiet right before the breakthrough. Let's be honest, most of us are waiting for a signal, a green light, a mentor, a go-ahead from someone wiser or older or more qualified. But here's the truth, no one is coming to give you permission to outgrow your past. Not your parents, not your friends, not your partner, and definitely not society. You've probably been taught to respect the version of yourself that others are comfortable with. The version that makes predictable choices. The one that keeps the peace, blends in, doesn't ask for too much. But that version of you was built for survival, not for freedom. There comes a moment in your life, maybe it's this exact moment, where you realize you're allowed to evolve without explanation. You're allowed to say, I don't believe in that anymore. I know I said yes to this before, but it's a no now. That's not me anymore. And that's okay. Growth isn't about replacing who you were. It's about integrating who you were and still choosing something new. Most people never do this because they feel guilty. They feel like if they change too much, they're betraying their past or confusing the people around them. But the truth is, you are not here to live up to the expectations of a past version of yourself. You are allowed to disappoint who you used to be in order to become who you actually are. Think about that. Think about how much energy you spend trying to hold on to identities you've already outgrown, trying to convince people you're still the same. when you know you're not. And all that time, life is whispering to you. Let it go. Step out. You're not broken. You're evolving. So if you needed a sign, here it is. You don't need permission to shift. You just need the courage to not apologize for it. And now we're going to talk about exactly what happens when you finally stop apologizing for your transformation, and what shows up in your life once you do. Now let's look for a moment and look at a truth that most people never realize until they're already exhausted and confused. The more you try to control life, the less it works for you. Think about it. You've probably spent years trying to force things to happen, forcing yourself into relationships that didn't fit, forcing motivation when your soul was calling for rest, forcing plans to go your way when everything was clearly shifting. And each time life pushed back, hard, not because it was punishing you, but because it was showing you that control is not the same as clarity. Control is about fear. It says, if I don't make this happen now, I'll miss my chance. I'll fail. I'll fall behind. But clarity, real clarity, doesn't rush. It listens. It watches. It knows. You don't attract peace, meaning, or success by forcing your way into alignment. You find them by removing what's not yours. Because alignment isn't something you chase. It's what's left when you stop trying to be what you're not. This is why some people get everything they want and still feel empty, because they chased control instead of truth. But when you choose alignment, when you let go of what no longer resonates, when you release what's no longer authentic, something strange happens. People start respecting your boundaries. You stop explaining yourself so much. Life stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like a flow. And sure, this doesn't mean life becomes easy all the time, but it becomes lighter, because you're no longer dragging your soul through situations it never chose. Here's the shift. Stop asking, how do I make this work? And start asking, is this even meant for me? If it's meant for you, it won't require you to betray yourself to get it. If it's meant for you, your body will relax, not tense up, in its presence. Let life meet you at your frequency, not your fear. And now we'll bring it all together and give you something real, something specific that you can do tonight to test everything you've just heard. But if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this, and comment unlocked so I know you came this far. All right, now let's end this the right way. Here's your challenge tonight, one that most people will avoid their whole life. Sit down, no music, no distractions, no phone, just you and you. Not to meditate, not to journal, not to do anything, just to witness. Your thoughts, your impulses, your discomfort, your boredom. Don't try to fix anything. Don't try to analyze. Don't try to become something. Just be the observer. Because when you do this, even for 10 minutes, you'll notice something rare happen. You'll stop being the main character in the chaos of your mind and start becoming the witness of it. And here's the real secret. That silence you touch, that pause between the noise, that's where your answers are hiding. That's where peace actually lives. Not in books, not in YouTube videos, not in a 30-day morning routine. It's in the space you've been running from your entire life. And the moment you can sit in that silence without needing to escape it is the moment your life begins to shift. Permanently. Not because something magical happened, but because for the first time, you stopped abandoning yourself. So tonight, before you go to bed, give yourself this space. No pressure, no expectations, just presence, just honesty, just you. Real, raw, and aware. That's how freedom begins. And that is the greatest secret no one ever told you. You've always been the lock and the key. Don't forget to comment unlocked if this connected with you. Until next time, stay aware, stay curious, and stay you.